and welcome to my channel Museum of Geology. Today my topic is the scope and subdivisions of geology. So viewers, modern geology has for its aim the disappearing of a whole evolution of the earth and its inhabitants from the time of the earliest records that can be recognized in the rocks right down to the present day. So ambitious program requires much subdivision of effort, and in practice, it is convenient to divide the subject into a number of branches. The key word of the main branches are the material of the Earth's rocky framework, which is basically mineralogy and petrology and their dispositions, like their form, structures, and in chair relationships, like structural geology, the geological processes or machinery of the earth by means of which changes of all kinds are brought about, physical geology, and finally the succession of the changes, or we can say the succession of these changes in time or the history of the earth, which is called historical geology. And viewers, as you know that the earth is made up of a great variety of materials such as air, water, ice, and living organisms, as well as minerals and rocks, and the useful deposits of metallic, or we can say metallic ores and fuels which are associated with them. The relative movement of these materials like wind, rain, rivers, waves, currents, and glaciers, the growth and movement of plants and animals, and the movements of hot materials inside the earth, as witnessed by volcanic activity, all bring about changes in the earth's crust and on surface. So all bring about changes in the earth's upper crust and on the surface. The changes involve the development of new rocks, form old new structures in the crust, and new distribution of land and sea and mountains and plains. We can say mountains and plain areas, and even of a climate and weather. The scenery of today is only the latest stage of an ever-changing series of widely varied landscapes, and you can say the seascapes. Physical geology is concerned with all the terrestrial agents and processes of change and with the effects brought about by them. This branch of geology is by no means restricted to geomorphology, as we have seen. Basically, its main interest is in the machinery of the earth and in the results, past and present, and of the various processes concerned, all of which are still actively in operation or near the earth's surface or out of sight in the depth. Of these results, the changing position of continents and oceans, of fold mountains, rift valleys, and ocean troughs. You can say the ocean troughs are important examples. Other are the rock structures such as folds that have resulted from movements and deformation of the earth's crust. Tectonics, the study of these structures, is an important part of structural geology, and which is also concerned with the forms and structures that characterize rocks when they are first formed. Basically, changes of all kinds have been going on continuously throughout the lifetime of the earth. That is for something like 4,600 million years. To the geologist, a rock is more than an aggregate of minerals. It is a page of the earth's autobiography with a story to unfold. It is, you can say, if only he can read the language in which the record is written, placed in their proper order from first to last, you can say the stratigraphy, and dated where possible by determining the ages of radioactive minerals and rocks, which is called a geochronology. So basically, the determining the ages of radioactive minerals is called geochronology, and these pages embody the history of the earth. Moreover, It is familiar knowledge that many beds of rocks contain the remains or impressions of shells or bones or leaves. These objects are called fossils, a term that was first applied by Agricola to anything of interest dug out of the ground, including minerals. Since the end of the 18th century, however, the term has been used only for the relics of animals and plants that inhabited the earth in former times. So, viewers, paleontology is the study of the remains of these ancestral forms of life, some of which, resembling certain types of seaweed, can be traced, or you can trace back for at least 3,000 million years. Thus, we see the historical geology deals not only with the nature and sequence of events brought about by the operation of the physical processes, but also with the history of the long procession of life through the ages. So, viewers, geology is by no means without practical importance in relation to the needs and industries of mankind. Indeed, the search for fuels has always been a powerful stimulant to geological progress. During the 18th century, it became increasingly recognized that the work done by the horses and windmills and water wheels could be enormously increased by utilizing the energy stored in coal. Prospecting for coal and later for the ores of iron and other useful metal gave geology its first effective start nearly 200 years ago. And during the present century, the search for oil, uranium, and other sources of atomic fuel have led to renewed geological efforts. With increasing demand for fuel and depletion of reserves of oil, you can say the depletion of the reserves of oil on land areas, the cooperation of geophysicists and resulted. So you can say the cooperation of the geophysicists has resulted in discoveries of gas and oil in the rocks of continental shelves. Basically, viewers, the Texas and Louisiana have long been supplied with oil from this source, and Britain, we can say the British already receives oil and gas from beneath the North Sea. According to estimates made in early 1975, the recoverable reserves of oil in the British sector of the North Sea shelf area are of the order of 12,000 to 40,400 million barrels, and the recoverable reserve of gas from the source about 1,158 multiplied by 10 cubic meters, 10 power 9 cubic meters. So you can imagine it. Geologists are also directly concerned with the vital subject of water supply. Many engineering projects such as tunnels, reservoirs, hydroelectric schemes and docks call for geological advice in the selection of sites and materials. In these and many other ways, geology is applied to the service of mankind. So, viewers, although geology has its own laboratory methods for studying minerals, rocks and fossils, it is essentially an open-air science. It attracts its followers to cracks and waterfalls, glaciers and volcanoes, beaches and coral reefs ever farther and farther field in the search for information about the earth and her often puzzling behavior. So wherever rocks are to be seen, for example in cliff and quarries, their arrangement and sequences can be observed and their history deciphered. You can say their history deciphered. So the hidden parts of the earth beneath the oceans, however, are the province of recent geophysical investigations. Since 1960, geophysical discoveries about the changed positions of the magnetic poles relative to the continents and the discovery of magnetic anomalies displayed by the basaltic crust of the ocean floors, combined with increasing accuracy in radiometric dating of rocks, have resulted in a new understanding of the earth and a variable resolution in geological thoughts. So viewers, it's all about the scope of geology and the subdivision of geology. So I hope you will enjoy it, and please subscribe my channel to get more valuable lectures and to get more valuable knowledge from Museum of Geology. So give me your feedback in the comment box. So let's meet in the next video. Thank you.